afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Hero of Sight, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to 1 vs 1 on the Glaze. Between the south, we got Kanji, fighting here for the United States of America and freedom. Fighting here for the 19th Infantry Division, holding the line as the Krauts advance under the command of Leiarde. Fighting for Germany, Deutschland, and the 1st SS Panzerdivision Leibstandarte. Mechanized assault, assault support, and lightning war being the tools for his trade versus Kanji's heavy cavalry, tactical support, and airborne company. Infantry bullets there on both sides all the way. Early mortar start here for Kanji. In fact, really early mortar start. Like, the second thing he goes for is a mortar. And I've certainly noticed as of late there's just increasing intensity for American players to just try and see how early they can push the mortar, because the mortar can be quite devastating. But generally, a second unit as the mortar is pretty extreme. Meanwhile, though, Leiarde is going for more conventional grenadier MD42 start here with Maschinengewehr and Infanterie. Parnisa laying down sandbags around this point. Not a bad spot in this case, getting caught with the rifleman. Poor Ludwig, though, bites the dust pretty quickly there. And Jürgen swiftly follows into the underworld as well there. And we might see Heinz there as well. And there you go. Only poor Jürgen is left. MD42 setting up here, but that's a pretty harsh engagement there. Fully out, he should have just retreated as soon as that saw that, but I guess he's just a bit too late there to realise it, or perhaps just hoping for something else to arrive in time. Either way, though, that is 3 pioneers down with pretty much no damage done to the rifleman. That is a huge win there for Kanji in the early game. Mortar rapidly setting up here, and with Leiarde being pinned down here like this, in fact, this might be what Kanji was hoping for. Just use the early rifleman to fix his opponent, and then use the extreme power of the early mortar there to just sort of hit the, well, idea home against your opponent. So right here, we can certainly see that Leiarde is all of a sudden coming under extreme pressure here from Kanji here in the very early game, thanks to just that early mortar there. I mean, he's going for more riflemen there, more infantry sort of pressure and sort of further apply that way, but at the same time, this early of a mortar is just something that could be quite devastating under the right circumstances, and so far it seems to be here. In fact, he needs to retreat that MD42 right now before risk getting wiped. There we got Grenadiers flanking in. Yes, it's coming here. These should be able to at least delay the Grenadiers from making too fast a move there on the mortar. In fact, we got suppressive fire here to further drive home the point. He can't just go for it. He does make into cover, but he's very much risking the Grenadiers. There we go, getting suppressed, allowing the mortar to escape. We got more riflemen arriving here, so he's going to have to retreat the Grenadiers here. So, good use of volley fire there. A rare use of it overall, but not bad there from Kanji. Grenadiers are forced to retreat. He is going for the fuel pump, but this has certainly been delayed here by Kanji, and again that early mortar. He's going for more riflemen there, troops reinforcing. He'll probably need more infantry. He might also consider a mortar of his own to just help deal with some of the infantry and maybe counter the opponent's mortar. We got heavy cavalry here versus mechanized assault.
You got a rifle squad waiting for orders.
We'll have to see how they actually end up playing out the doctrines, but this is certainly looking to be a extremely well-off start here for Kanji and the Americans. Again, just that early mortar, plus that sort of end disrupting Leiarde there, who also didn't immediately go for the fuel point there, has rather done a lot of damage. We'll have to see, of course, how Leiarde tries to react and counter this kind of brutal start from Kanji and the 19th Infantry Division, who opted for a counterattack. In fact, we got assault grenadiers out here for Leiarde, hoping to clear out the streets and the houses with the power of the MP40. The German submachine gun of choice, though not the only submachine gun they use. In fact, they use a lot of the submachine guns, partly dependent on theatre of war. For some, they use the, in fact, surprisingly excellent Italian submachine gun. Well, in Italy, in fact, everybody down there used that submachine gun for getting their hands on it. Lost an MD42 and a Grenadier squad. Oh, I mean, he got the MD42 back, but still, that is a huge loss there for Leiarde. Huge loss. He is getting absolutely pillared here by Kanji. I mean, this is devastating. I mean, he's lost the Grenadier squad there so early on, and he's yet to inflict any casualties on Kanji. I mean, better map control-wise, it's not looking good either. I mean, he's really going to hope these assault Grenadiers turn out to be bloody well SS Stormtroopers of, you know, the movie kind, the ones that actually kill stuff. Anyways, getting to the actually using volley fire. There you go. Use the retreat as soon as the assault grenadiers are suppressed. Down close. He's going for the fuel point. They're home to stall. Kanji's tech here. What will he do? Will he try to take up? We got more assault grenadiers. He's just doubling down on the assault grenadiers. He's just going all in here, just hoping that raw, close quarters combat firepower can perhaps overwhelm Kanji. Faith in Endsieg is clearly Leiarde's modus operandi here. We got assault grenadiers right from the promise that range. He needs to pull someone trying. Oh, they move up towards him. Bad move there by Kanji. They actually get pretty nasty up close. The problem is generally for assault grenadiers is to get close, in particular versus the American, who can usually pick them apart at that point. Although if they can get close, they can do a lot of damage. Though, of course, you generally have to remember to use sprint, which is what most players tend to forget when using the assault grenadiers. That's a little fun fact there. A lot of players, when using assault grenadiers, completely ignore the sprint ability, but it's in fact the very thing they need to use. Captain Mortar there, he needs to take up though. We do have to take up there, but that's only a bit delayed here. Captain rushing into the assault grenadiers, taking damage. Problem is, they'd already taken so much fire from there that even, here it's not looking too good. Plus the mortar wipes the assault grenadiers. That's the second wipe here in moments for Leiarde. This is just absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific here for Leiarde. I mean, he should have retreated soon. I mean, that close to a mortar means it's going to be very accurate. They're already low on health there. He should have just retreated. So I'm not entirely sure to have him there for Leiarde, but that was definitely not looking too good there. Pioneer sneaking about, but still he's managed to deny his opponent fuel. That is a definite victory, however tiny. We actually got a second mortar. He actually missed that. It's actually the second mortar here from Kanji. He's just going full in there. Full in. Needs to take up some, bring up some other equipment there. Assault reserves riflemen. Trying to clear them out. Going to be a slow, arduous task. Captain moving in, half health. Bazooka in hand. There go rifle pushed out there due to the presence of the assault grenadiers. Hey, mortar fire raining down around the ears of the pioneers. He needs to get up the like to make a nice company soon. We got the assault grenadiers moving ahead there. More mortar fire. Cap moving into. We got more assault grenadiers here. Leiarde is just completely just handing out MP40s left and right. You sir, take an MP40, move in there and shoot down as many Americans as you can if you get close. If not, well, at least you tried. I mean, generally, the versus the Americans, the last I'd expect a player to go is heavy on the assault grenadiers. Yes, that is the very exact thing that Leiarde is doing. I mean, he's either a genius or he's insane. Possibly neither, and possibly both.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
There we go, like to make a nice company up there. Mortar sitting up there. In the west, we got Kanji defending the western point there, setting up cover. Is then much more exposed. Fighting bit up here. And we got grenade assault, clearing out the riflemen. Up the cafe. Excellent work there.
Lost an infantry unit.
I told you it was a good idea to bring along all these grenades, but no, you were like, no, we don't need them. But if they go off, well, they went off into the Americans' faces. Rifle flanking against the grenadiers. He might like to push straight for the mortar, try and at least push them back. He needs the assault grenadiers push back. Like to make a nice company up. He's going to need some anti-tanks. So there you go. Mortar engaged with the assault grenadiers as they rush in. MP40s blazing in hand. Riflemen nearby. Need to deal with them. But still push back the mortars for a bit. He needs to pull back actually before they're able to set up again and begin firing down at the assault grenadiers. Looks like here Leiarde is finally learning his lesson. But still, despite everything, he's actually been able to, push back and secure map control, which is in itself pretty damn impressive there for Leiarde. Rangers out here, can't quite upgrade them yet. Assault grenadiers trying to sort of stall up the Americans. Rangers have a decent chance of getting the MG42, but if we can just run around the corner before, taking too much damage, it should have a chance there. Assault grenadiers reinforcing, halfway to it to 1. Still nothing out of the like to make a nice company. Then again, he's had to call in a lot of troops and reinforce a lot of troops, so that has rather delayed his ability to just get something out of them. We got the steward on the way now for Kanji. We got Panzer Grenadiers there for Leiarde. He's going to maybe actually have to go for Panzer on them, because otherwise he's going to have absolutely no anti-tank, or he's going to have to rely on Teller mines, which seems to be in fact what Leiarde is doing, hoping in the mighty Teller mine to save the day. Assault Grenadiers versus Rangers promised the M1 carbines, actually picking them apart there at range, and he's not closing in. Interesting enough, there we go. Got Thompson, got the M40 Grenadiers. He's not even fully reinforced though. Leiarde is forcing them forwards. Extreme seal compels his men to move ahead, and possibly a few threats of physical violence. Rangers there, suppressed grenadiers there under heavy mortar fire as the mortar battery owns in on it. Generally though, German mortar crews were known as being more nasty than the American crews because they could actually hit their targets. In fact, most of the casualties, in fact, in Normandy were caused by German mortars. Guys stood moving towards here. These the pioneers need to retreat pretty soon. Will he go for the Pantrix? He's going to trust in the Teller mine, perhaps baiting the steward into it. I mean, right here, he could actually have it perhaps happen. Is he doing it? Is he hoping on the telebait? Tele meaning plate, by the way. As it rather resemble plates, albeit very high explosive plates, which you'd only serve to your mother-in-law. You've got soldiers charging into the Rangers, laying down a vicious storm of fire, though, against the Rangers, returning back there with higher caliber fire. The MP40 only flying 9mm parabellum. Of course, there's still the mortars nearby here, moving about. Getting closer to the teller mine. Is the trap going to work off? Oh. You know, Charles, I feel like this is a really good spot. Dead. Panzers they're flanking in, and with that, Leiarde has bought himself a bit of time in there. That's what a really good Tellermine can usually do against Stuarts and the likes there. That is, if it goes off. Right. I mean, he can usually sort of buy some time, and even in sort of more pressured situation, you know, lives should get back in the game. There you go, he even wipe the Rangers with the Panzer Grenadiers. Hardened veterans now of the first SS pushing forwards. They got bun grenades off there, the geballte Ladnung, which partly was actually used as an anti-tank grenade, particularly the early stage of the war, though later in the war it would have less effect. But would have still been pretty good at clearing out people. Panzers they're being pushed back, ultimately a bit too many shots there going on, but nonetheless, he's now having a bit of an impact there against Kanji, and the loss of that Stuart plus the Rangers still certainly allow Leiarde here to get back, so the full-on assault grenadier play seems to have had some kind of help down to break up the Panzer Grenadiers. He can call in the Stugi, and he does call in the Stugi here, desperately calling in assault and reinforcements. And there you go, right being caught up pretty bad position. We got the assault guys charging forwards, veterans one-on-one squad, the other one closing in as well there. Bullets flying around the ears here, poor Private Bob, as shots just whiz all about him. Los, sweep the area with bullets. I want all of them dead and screaming for help. And then when you go over to them, you shoot them. There you go, grenade assault, clearing out there. Again, you know, pioneers were the one heavily equipped with grenades, since they're usually the ones, you know, meant for clearing up things up close. Usually with big, you know, satchels filled with grenades. So in that sense, these would make more sense than being called assault pioneers. Then again, most pioneers were assault troops. Of course, they were once more meant for building stuff, but they were generally not part of the issues. They were sort of more specialists, sort of attached wherever needed. Fun fact. We've got Rangers moving up there. Thompson halfway down. Assault Gunners there. Oh, they're closing in on the Assault Gunners. Bad move there by the Rangers. The Assault Gunners all of a sudden having the advantage. There we go, gunning down the Rangers with the MP40s, leaving none standing. And there we go. Rangers then, in fact, losing out to the Assault Gunners because they moved up close to them. Fun fact. Still got the mortars here. Panzers there dealing with the captain. What will Kanji do next here in the face of German resistance stiffening as the assault pressures onwards with an influx of more hardened German troops and now armour? How old it was, technically. Mortar there coming in the fire from the Stugi, and it's 75 mm with a cannon. Right, moving about there. We got an anti-tank here from Kanji to deal with the Stugi. A lot of mortar fire around the centre. MP42 could do with some reinforcement. Panzer's moving away here. Closing in eventually too. They've certainly been able to do a lot more damage though than the assault grenadiers. Then again, they might also just veterans up fast. It's a bit hard to say there. Stugi though needs to get away before it gets covering too much fire there, and gets disabled and then knocked out with bazookas and anti-tank gun fire. Continued mortar fire there. Stu trying to escape here, breaking down walls and trees in the process. Up here, troops healing and reinforcing, getting ready for the next big push for the fatherland. Well, they're actually close to Victory 2 there, which generally tends to help a lot on the assault grenadiers. Panzers, though, being overwhelmed by rifle plus the captain, they will need to retreat here. Note what he does first, though. He pulls behind the building before then trying to retreat, at least maybe trying to draw them a bit closer, splitting them up perhaps even before hitting retreat here. Basically trying to ensure a much better retreat path. There you go, bun grenade even, trying to sort of soften up. them a bit there. Good work there by Leiarde. Very sharp move there. Most players would just get immediately hit retreat here. In this case, Leiarde saw an opportunity perhaps to do a bit more damage before retreating and perhaps also increase the survivability of his men in the process. So good work here. Right now, though, he's very much risking this to either and might in fact even lose it. And he gets the captain though with a single hit there. Bazooka grab, but the rifle needs to get out of there before they get wiped out. And there goes Soldier covering up the retreat path. Nice maneuver again there. Again, no, he didn't just, go straight in a beeline at the rifle. He didn't end up close to Stuggy. What he did, though, was actually use the Stuggy from front, then circle about, hitting the retreat path with the assault grenade, actually increasing the chance of getting some wipes. In fact, he might be able to wipe the rifle here with the assault grenade. So it looks like they will be able to get away. Close, though, close, and overall, I think, optimal maneuver there. So again, less optimal with the Stuggy, but with the assault grenadiers, good work. In fact, even hit Veggie 2 there with the assault grenadiers. But there you go, Rangers sweeping forward with Thompson in hand. So what we do next, he's taking up there some Stuggies or Panther 4. He maybe lost, we could do quite well, I think, for Leiarde here versus Kanji. We got more, well, he's actually laying down barbed wire here. I mean, apparently done a lot of barbed wire at some point here to sort of try and seal off the east a bit more effectively to Kanji. Holy crap, he's left his MG42 here. It's pretty bold there by Leiarde, considering that one good hit from a mortar could very much make that American equipment. But it's time here for the mid-game analysis. In terms of damage, Kanji's ahead. Kills-wise, Kanji's ahead, though they're actually surprisingly close. I mean, really, again, those early losses for Leiarde, again, that just super aggressive mortar, I think, rather for all Leiarde. And though he does seem to have stabilized, sort of slowly turning things around there against Kanji. In terms of my value, though, I mean, again, there's a bit of a difference. Again, just that early game really has just allowed Kanji to get ahead there. But again, he's been able to stabilize things and turn around. Though, again, the loss of the Stuggy has rather left Leiarde a bit there below Kanji. So while his starts of map control has come at a bit of a cost there, again, he was, I think, pretty good there getting that map control after a pretty rough start. Resource float, he is floating a bit more there. Of course, he might be planning something in terms of points held, though again, initially stuff sort of rubbish, but again, managed to go and then sort of gain a lot of map there. I mean, there's been really some sharp play there, I think, from Leiarde against Kanji, trying to avoid, just bashing his head into a wall, realizing he needs to hit elsewhere, then doing so, and then very interesting for that with a lot of assault grenades. That one's still the, I think, most surprising move there from Leiarde, which so far has not turned out to completely bite him in the posterior. But some mines here and there, I think, would be a good choice for Leiarde. Some S mines, some Teller mines, and anything to further slow down Kanji, and then some medium armor out there from the support armor core. As for a heavy panzer core, that's probably not what I'd recommend in the current circumstance. I mean, it could do it, but it would probably mean Kanji didn't have a good chance of then reversing things again, leaving Leiarde in a pretty bad spot. But then again, maybe properly supported the Panther could do the trick. I mean, it could also go for the Tiger, though, if again is taken for tier 4 and the Tiger, and that's just going to be really weird. I mean, currently, I think, tier 3 here would more able to cement things and sort of, get in a bit better position there versus Kanji overall. But I also would say, well played there by Leiarde, well played. As for Kanji, he certainly had, a few sort of bad mishaps. He perhaps underestimated Leiarde a bit there. Leiarde able to sort of take advantage of that. He needs to consider some upgrades for the men further on, but there's been a lot of munitions just spent, I think, on submachine guns, which he then lost. Some mines here and there, I think, would also be a good choice to try and slow down Leiarde once he actually got some territory back, though he needs to sort of grab back the west side, and he also needs to try and outmaneuver Leiarde. I mean, he's been very much about attacking straight into Leiarde at every point possible, and sometimes that works out, but at the same time, if your opponent then catches onto it and does some tricks they're counting, including flanking, you can run into some problems. That's sort of what Kanji is doing there. So he needs to sort of bring up some replacements, but also need to change up his battle tactics a bit. I think a tech up there for some medium armor would also be good. I mean, again, Leiarde has turned things around, so I mean, going for a Pershing right now is going to be risky, to say the least. But again, if Leiarde somehow ends up going for tier 4, could pan out a bit. Then again, he might also want to consider some fuel cache to help ensure fuel flow better, because again, Leiarde, despite everything, was able to actually shut down the fuel flow effectively towards Kanji. So, I mean, that might be something for Kanji to sort of consider, mitigating with fuel caches. But otherwise, again, look for the rest of the map and try not to be, right in Leiarde's face about things. Try to outmaneuver him and catch him in some bad positions, particularly the Rangers there. But let's return to the fight and see what happens. Let us see what happens. Troops reinforcing and healing. Western field polemics killed by the echelons. And these have got the MB42 still fighting here versus Rifle advancing. We've still got those double mortars just lining down shots at them. We got a grenade assault here from the Panzer Grenadiers, wiping out the rifle, and another staggering loss there for Kanji, who's all of a sudden trying to do a lot of things at different points there. Which means if Leiarde just is a bit sharp at one point, he can certainly do a lot of damage right there. So all of a sudden, Kanji suffered a bit of loss there. Leiarde is further and further building up a lead now, further and further changing the game here against Kanji. Rangers moving up there against the Panzer Grenadiers. Almost hitting the Panzer, but in this case they got pretty damn lucky. That was rather, I think, reckless there by Leiarde. I mean, if those two even remotely hit, that could have been GG for those chaps. Rangers pushing forward to the Thompson's hand. We got assaulters there pushing here aggressively against the re-echelons. Could probably have to pop a grenade assault here, however expensive to just clear that. But there, ultimately, though, with two assaulters squads against the re-echelons, they don't stand a chance. And while one is pinned, the other one is not. They also are really close to Vetsi too as well. We got the Rangers moving up, but again with two assault grenadier squads there, they might want to be a bit careful about that. They aren't shock troopers, these chaps. But there you go, quick grenade there. Oh, they're running into it! Heavy loss there, assault there. Ooh, dealing with the Rangers. He focuses the wrong down the unit. He's trying to get a wipe. He might actually get it though. Vetsi 2 and the Rangers, there you go. Wipe on the assault the other squad that hits Vetsi 2 as well. Maybe further, the assault guys need to get a bit closer to get the bed off with the shots down, so quite good at medium range, whereas the Thompsons here in game actually have more of a profile closer to assault rifles. They're not quite the same profile, in fact it is slightly less efficient than the Sturmgewehr, but still getting those assault guys, but quite a loss there for Leiarde. Didn't help he actually walk into the grenade there rather than around it. But he's actually gone for the heavy panzer corps, the absolute madman. Leiarde has gone for it. Though with the Sherman on the way, that might still work out. But I would say that's pretty risky nonetheless. But I do think it sort of exemplifies here that Leiarde is actually, despite, again, I would describe a really rough start, is very confident in the current state of affairs. They can actually pull for that and they'll sort of that way try to close down their game by simply presenting Kanji there with some pretty severe armour. Modified there against the assault conspirations opening up, so BRC really would have helped Kanji. We got the Rangers moving up again. It's going to be some time off the armor, and again, fuel caches could have perhaps assisted with that a bit, otherwise you could consider more rifle or more range that way, you know, pressures the opponent more. There you go, second assault squad being pushed back here, Rangers doing what they can. Goddamn Krauts. Get him, Carl, get him. What about you, Sarge? Well, you know, I'm the sergeant. My job is to shout at you. Your job is to follow those shouts. Ralph Nevis' Panzer Grenadiers, good job there again. Note, not direct there, but in fact, trying to sort of look for the cut-off path there, get retreat path home, so that way do more damage. Veteran defeat and the Panzer Grenadiers making them into hardened men there. Unit wipe, the MG42 lost there again. Leiarde seems to occasionally underestimate Kanji's mortar effectiveness. Got artillery running down, then the Rangers need to get away. Still losing the MG42 there. Need to retreat them. Ah, oh, Kanji. What are you doing, you silly bastard? That was close to being a full wipe there. There's Rangers. If we could steal that MG42, that would be nasty, but there you go. Leiarde's already got some pioneers bringing up to crew the machine gun. Denied to his armies. In fact, we can all see that Leiarde has gone for a fuel cache. Even when he didn't need to, he just ensured to further make sure an armor push could work out for tier 4. Thumbs up there to Leiarde. That's actually pretty damn good. We got Panzer with another balanced grenade here against the 4th position here of Kanji, getting the anti-tank gun as well in the process. Panzer was there just on fire against the Americans. Not literally on fire though. And we got more Rangers here from Kanji. More MG42's gone there. He's slowly pushing back here against Leiarde, but still he's taking quite a beating there. I mean, Leiarde's forces currently, population-wise much smaller, but he's just leveraging it so well against Kanji. That's quite impressive, really. He can actually now go for a Panther. He could also go for a Sturmpanzer. Either way, I think you just go for either one, because either one is going to be quite difficult for Kanji to deal with. And again, a Panther would further also lock down any immediate armor reinforcements. He'd have to then wait either for the Jackson or a parachute to have any half decent time. There you go, grenade assault against the Rangers. We've got more Rangers moving in here. 19th Infantry Division getting a lot of Ranger support here. Assault players push back there in the end though, as there's simply too many Rangers there for them to contend with. MG42 setting up here. This time Pioneer manned. Still good work with the fuel cache there, Leiarde, but it does look like he's playing for the Tiger now, which just begs the question, why did he go for the heavy Panzer Corps if he's ultimately going to go for the Tiger? And that usually tends to be one of those slightly more odd of things. I mean, obviously, if you might want to then support the Tiger later with the Panther, maybe, but I don't know. It just seems weird to me. But there you go, double mortar against Leiarde. Needs to spread out his men there. I mean, he's really now making it very likely that a few mortar hits could do some catastrophic damage there to Leiarde. In the west, though, we got Panzer there pushing back the riflemen. Heavy fire there. Gunners are charging forwards. Rangers moving in. They are veteranly free, by the way. Hardened men as well. Quite a threat there to the Germans. At veteranly free. In the east, we've got the Pioneers thinking about there. No sign of mines here for him by the looks of it. Though he does have the munitions, and soon he's got the Tiger, whereas Kanji at most is going to have a Sherman tank. And harassment against the victory point here. Work. Munitions wise, he's a bit off there from another upgrade there. Panzers being engaged by the Rangers. Sweeping in aggressively, mortar firing down. There go, bun grenade in the path. Gets half the unit, need to retreat. I think the only thing that saved him was basically the mortars laying down fire, preventing the Panzer Grenadiers from easily pursuing. Had he tried to pursue, he might actually lost the Panzer Grenadiers themselves. And it would be pretty bad to lose eventually 3 Panzer Grenadier squad. But he actually went for more Panzer Grenadiers first before another Tiger. We got a machine gun bunker up to cover the centre here. We can see Leiarde is now just hard at work here, trying to lock down the map there to prevent Kanji of having any chance of getting back into the game. Because, I mean, Kanji is slowly building up a force. And in a sense, it's still more bigger, but it's just Kanji sort of wielding it a bit more haphazardly. It's just a unit here, unit there. There's not so much focus there. He's struggling. He's under a lot of pressure from Leiarde. Because, again, Leiarde knows how to wield his units with a lot more deftness. Got Bartwire here. He's trying to, again, further lock down movement and paths of approach for Kanji. Very sneaky that. Ranger squad number 2 has been upgraded. Needs to get the first one over there to support, but that's moving towards the centre here. But they'll soon be running into machine gun bunker. Sherman, though, has finally arrived here for Kanji and the 19th Infantry Division. A bit of armed support here. Rangers need to get up close with the Thompsons to have any, I think, real chance here. Need to get the Sherman up there. Tiger now available for Leiarde. Rangers there being suppressed by the machine gun bunker, remaining himself here at the northern outskirts. And the Rangers have been pinned down. We've got assault grenadiers. We've got MD4 coming up to the line of fire of the riflemen. That probably will be it. No, he doesn't have munitions there for a grenade assault, though he's getting very close to it. He suffered a loss here. The Grenadiers getting wiped up with the Sherman and the Rangers. Staggering casualties there for Leiarde and the 1st SS. Almost got the Grenadiers right. We've got the Panzers moving past. Riflemen pushed back here by the assault Grenadiers and the MD-42 present. Of course, still got the mortars. And there you go. Panzer Grenadiers under heavy fire there from the Sherman as it advances. Tiger moving in now. Misses the Tiger, Sherman, misses the Sherman. And of course now there's a bit of a problem for Kanji. His anti-tank this far away there. He's got one bazooka and that's about it. There he goes, he's moving behind the Tiger there. Not a bad idea. The problem is just the Sherman on because the Tiger's not going to do that much when he flanks at this stage. He needs to get more anti-tank support up. And the problem is he's not moving up the anti-tank and somehow trying to meet the Sherman. He's trying to outmaneuver it then. It does have faster movement than the Tiger's turret can rotate. And if that was more realistic Tiger turret rotation, it could probably just keep drumming in circles. But there you go. That's actually a pretty damn smart maneuver. He sort of managed to sort of push a bit back there, then lays down smoke before disengaging himself. So that's actually some surprisingly sharp maneuvering there by Kanji Sherman. Gotta give him credit for that.
We have a forward structure under attack.
Modified there against the machine gun bunker, trying to silence that anti-tank gun, finally moving a bit more forwards. But Kanji's going to need at least one more anti-tank gun to have any, I think, serious chance there. Best of the Tiger. Pioneers are closer to the mortar. He might want to get a bit further away there. Rule of thumb, never try to repair near targets that are attracting a lot of enemy artillery fire. Yet Leiarde doesn't really seem to care. Rangers moving up here. Quick grenade. And before two, they seem to be able to get out in the time. We got Panzermen there, a lot of them, including Veteran 3 squad there, the hardened veterans, Iron Cross holders, every single one of them, first class too.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Oh, clearing out the MD-42 there with a bit of sharp fire. Good to see a wipe there. well, we won't be able to take advantage of. He needs to retreat there pretty soon, actually, before they get wiped. In fact, he might still get wiped because there's a tiger waiting at the retreat path. Again, Leiarde is, I think, keenly aware of generally sort of where units are going to retreat through, and he's quite good at, you know, trying to just punish that, which is a surprisingly effective tactic. You sort of execute it with any sort of regularity and consistency. And there you go, roughing it on the mortar, finally able to hurt them a bit there. Tiger pulling back, they're waiting for infantry at least before advancing. And there goes German flanks in, but without serious anti-tank support, it's not going to last. In fact, Kanji's flooding an awful lot of manpower here. And there's been no sign of, say, additional anti-tank guns at the very least, which again would help quite a bit versus the Tiger. Panzers then moving ahead. Tiger first moving now with some assault gunners they're supporting it, leading the way essentially, acting as tank escorts. Got an artillery barrage here against this cluster of troops there from Kanji, and there you go, catching hot here. They got the Tiger strike in as well here, basically taking advantage of the chaos caused by the artillery barrage. Just hit all the weak targets. There we go, gets the ambulance as well. Solid strike there by Leiarde. Assault guns there, Panzers wiping out the anti-tank gun here, sweeping forwards and clearing it out. Mortar crew there being pushed back by the Panzer gunners and the assault grenadiers. Got the Rangers moving up there. Need to retreat the Panzer grenadiers. At least once one, there you go. The Rangers themselves are suffering heavily as well. Assault grenadiers super close, eventually flee. We got the Tiger there firing, got the Sherman nearby. Anti-tank recruit, but that's just getting swept down. And there you go, eventually flee on the assault grenadiers. Nasty hit there by the Sherman. But the anti-tank gun is gone. And he's still flooding a lot of manpower. There's certainly, I think, a feeling of pressure here on Kanji's shoulders at the moment. As he's struggling there with the Leiarde, who's just delivering these viciously sharp hits here and there. But in fact, what's essentially a smaller force. Tiger there getting flanked by the Sherman. Storm Panzer on the way there. Support the infantry versus the armies. So for our manpower again, seems like he's not really quite there yet, or perhaps he's struggling. He might be frustrated here, and he's just not swarming the Tiger, despite, you know, all of these Rangers won't be able to do anything to it specifically. He's damaged the engine there a bit, but I'm not really sure what he's hoping to achieve there. I'm guessing it's just a sense of desperation there from Kanji against the Tiger, or perhaps he's just hoping to prevent any infantry getting near it. In this case, able to prevent the Pioneers from being able to work on it, which is something there. But again, the lack of any serious anti-tank means he can't really follow up on it. And now we got the Sturmpanzer out there, fully out, and the 1st SS going for the victory point in the west with the Grenadiers.
The capture point is under attack.
Another bazooka shot there, Sherman moving out, but still no anti-tank guns. We actually soon go for a Jackson. Victory points wise, there's looking rather grim there for Kanji versus Leiarde. Gang points in the east for the Major. At this point, it rather looks like he's kind of given up. He's rushing in the Major there. And again, note, he moves in the troops behind while the armor attacks from the front here. And again, he's looking to try and deny the retreat path here. So now he's moving in his troops into the artillery there, but I think it means he just doesn't care, but still. Wipes the Major as well. And game over, GG again. Very rough start there for Leiarde, but through sharp tactics, they was able to turn the game around again, in part just, you know, constantly trying to sneak up behind, flanking, get behind, cut off the retreat path, increasing damage, but also the potential for getting wipes against his opponent. Also just exerting strong map control there against Kanji, who again was very much relying on his mortar again, very potent, but at the same time it was quickly apparent he was too reliant on them. I couldn't exert good map control without them. Factoring the loss of the Stuart then to the Telemount, really further just drove down his ability to control the map, further just giving Leiarde more freedom of movement, turning this very assault grenadier focused strategy into something surprisingly effective. He probably could have done a bit more damage faster maybe with the Panther Storm Punch, but in the end the Tiger didn't work out. Though would still describe that as very risky, and a part of me thinks still he might be better off here in this case with Panzer Force, maybe Austrians. But overall, really sharp play there from Leiarde, turning a pretty grim situation into a shining victory there against the Americans. Again, Kanji, I think, made some good moves here and there, but again, it was too clear. It was too reliant on the mortars, I think, to doing most of the work. He struggled to sort of get the most out of his infantry, and the loss of that Shuriken just completely, just took the wind out of him to an extent there. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe, tell friends, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay and provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers. Thank you all for watching. So up to you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Cheers.